So let's try out this proverb, shall we? Burn your lips on hot milk. You'll start blowing on water too. Welcome back to the Proverb series. This is actually a super fun series now because it's mostly Proverbs that are being sent in by viewers who are emailing them, dropping them in their comments. And it's been so exciting to sort of see these different Proverbs from all over the world. This particular proverb was sent in by a viewer. It's originally a Russian proverb. You know who you are who sent it in, so thank you so much. I had not heard this proverb before, but when I read it, I really thought it was wonderful. And I definitely can see that it has relevance for understanding the process of healing from narcissistic abuse in actually a rather clever way. So let's start with what this proverb means. Basically, if you get burned in one place, you keep waiting for it to happen in others, and you generalize it into a range of situations. At one level, it is also a proverb that helps us understand post-trauma. After people experience trauma, a mistrustfulness, not only about other people, but also not trusting yourself, almost always impacts a person. And one could argue that narcissistic abuse is its own form of trauma that carries its own form of post-trauma. But this is a proverb about not knowing who or what to trust. And it is one of the biggest issues raised by people who are trying to heal and recover from narcissistic abuse. There tend to be two paths that a person can go down after experiencing narcissistic abuse. One is unresolved trauma bonds, which may mean even after getting out of one narcissistic relationship, a person might find themselves repeating the cycle of a narcissistic relationship and choosing yet another narcissistic relationship. The other pathway is extreme caution. This proverb sort of concerns itself with that second path. But just FYI, just a reminder, this is why I'm such a big believer in a period of solitude and the importance of not getting into new relationships while you are still recovering from narcissistic abuse. It's so important so that you can do the working through and understanding and dissolving the trauma-bonded vulnerabilities while you are on your own and not while someone else can take advantage of those vulnerabilities again, or you still feel like you're needing to cater to the needs of another human being. But that second path of not feeling like you can trust yourself, trust someone else, or seeing red flags everywhere, that path is actually pretty common. Many people feel that they are living in fear of all of that just happened in a narcissistic relationship, all of that happening again. Anything that even feels a little generous during an initial courtship raises fears of love bombing. If the person is insistent, does that mean they're bad with boundaries? There may also be a lack of trust to a point of suspiciousness. So even if things are going smoothly and healthily in a new relationship, a fear of being betrayed or lied to or being taken advantage of still persists. Blowing on the water after burning your lips on the hot milk. I tell most survivors of narcissistic abuse that being guarded and requiring slow-moving trust building is very, very normal. The greater that the betrayals were in the narcissistic relationship, the longer that this process can take. You may need more and more episodes that establish and cement that trust in a new relationship. To which I say, that's fine. Be patient with yourself. I do think that there is sometimes a sort of societal pressure to hurry up and trust. For survivors of narcissistic abuse, that is simply not an option. Trust building takes time, and you need to give yourself that time. Many times, people feel that they are being too slow to trust or too cynical, and they judge themselves. And that is dangerous because then there is a risk of throwing yourself into a new relationship or situation too quickly and having the sense of, I need to hurry up and trust. The question always is, will I trust again? Yeah, I think you probably will, but probably not like you did before. In the healthiest possible scenario after narcissistic abuse, you will always be aware and self-advocating and give yourself permission to question things that don't feel safe or good, and also to recognize patterns such as gaslighting, future faking, and invalidating. That doesn't mean that you don't trust. It simply means that you're being a good gatekeeper and protecting yourself. Blowing on the water after being burned by hot milk is a balancing act. While you do not want to chastise a new person in your life for the sins of the narcissist before them, you do want to create a space where you feel safe. So, how do you do that? Time. If a relationship or a person is healthy, then they will give you that time to establish that trust. If they cannot do that, then you may be once again sort of witnessing that rushing stuff we see in love bombing. You can do this. You can build that trust up by looking at the slow accumulation of events that establish trust. If after weeks and months, the person's behavior remains respectful, aware, empathic, reciprocal, pay attention to that accumulation. Don't become complacent, but at a pace that feels right to you, slowly open up. You'll see that over time, despite burning your lips on that hot milk, you will slowly stop blowing on that proverbial water. As the healthy stuff of a relationship presents itself, again, respect, compassion, kindness, mutuality of regard, reciprocity, patience, humility, that becomes the foundation of trust. And this may be such new territory to you that you don't know what to do with it. Breathe into it. And it's like preparing a canvas to paint on it. This good stuff becomes the foundation for building trust and not seeing the water as hot milk. A little blowing on the water after burning yourself on hot milk may not be a bad thing. Take it slow. However, also give yourself time after a narcissistic relationship to heal and recover, to trust yourself, and to also expunge the toxicity of the former relationship. If you move too quickly, it may not be about a lack of trust as much as still responding to the trauma of the original narcissistic relationship. And there also stands the risk of accusing a new, potentially healthy partner of doing things that they are not doing. Building trust with another human being starts with trusting yourself. And so many people leave narcissistic relationships feeling and believing that they betrayed themselves. No, that's not what you did. You were betrayed. And the self-blame results in you turning that back on yourself. The more you learn to trust you, the better able you are to spot red flags, to give a new relationship time to breathe, to give yourself permission to set boundaries, to recognize a gaslight for what it is, to recognize that you are good alone if you need to be, to recognize the dissonance and the justifications, and to look for the stuff that makes a healthy relationship. It's a stepwise process. Trust is something that is earned, and building a foundation takes time. Survivors do take more time to trust. It's true. We do need to keep blowing on the water. But perhaps there's a wisdom on that. You certainly don't want to burn your lips again. I'm Dr. Ramani. Thanks again for tuning in. If you do have other proverbs you like, drop them in the comments or send them in. And if you like that video, please give us a thumbs up. Thanks again.